Sa?
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to week 6 of the Ekasi Esports chess series. I am your host today, Perfect, and I'm not traveling alone. I'm with my main man, Mr. Snare. How you doing, Mr.
Hello.
Snare? How you doing?
I'm good in UG. I'm good. I'm happy to be out here. Some
Yeah.
nice Sunday chess. Always another good highlights of a weekend that doesn't end in calamity. You know, we can't go out, can't do anything exciting, but this is the highlights. It's gonna be
Yeah,
insane.
this is gonna be the highlight. And this week we were just like talking before stream that like this week we have some serious competition. Like we have some candidate masters in, we got some fight masters in the player list. So yeah, we are in store for some top-notch action. Are you excited today?
Of course I am. Of course I am. Like you said, I mean, we have some incredibly high-ranked players, right? We
Yeah.
have, let's count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players above 1500. And that's including a situation where we know some players are missing that are above 1500. So that means that the entire thing is growing. Top tier competition always means more exciting games. No, I'm definitely hyped.
Yeah, Dave, 100s. And also like yeah, make sure you guys leave a like on the video. Make sure to interact with us in the on the chat or leave a comment. Be sure to share this with your chess friends, even to those friends who don't like chess or might be thinking about playing some chess. You know, share this with them, and who knows, they could like try it out for 1 week and see how it goes. You never know. Maybe you have some secret talent that's like under all that. But yeah, so to give you guys a rundown of what the Ekasi Esports chess series is, the Ekasi Esports chess series powered by Vodacom is a chess tournament which is divided into two parts. The first part being the 8 weekly leagues, which consist where 32 players each week get to battle it out for a spot in the playoffs. So each week we have a tournament every Sunday at 3 p.m. like this one, for example, where 32 players will fight for 8 spots in the playoffs. And to make it a bit more exciting and a bit more enticing, what we do is that the top 3 winners each week gets to walk away with some cash prizes, courtesy of Ekasi Esports and Vodacom World. So the first person gets gets 400 rands in cash. Second place gets 200 rands in cash, and third place walks away with 150 rands in cash. So yeah, like if you want to try it out, if you want to participate, registration's open every Monday on the Ekasi Esports chess series page. And if you want to like visit that page, the link will be in the description below. If you want me to say it out, the link is www.ekasiesports.africa/chess-series. If you want to learn more about the tournament, you can check it out there. And also, if you would like to keep tabs on what's going on, if you want to know any updates with the chess series, be sure to follow Ekasi Esports on all social media platforms. The tag, the handle, whatever you want to call it, is at Ekasi Esports. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. I don't think we have a Tinder yet, but maybe we might as well create one in the future. But you can find us on all socials. At Ekasi Esports. Be sure to show us some love, send us some messages. We like reading your guys' messages and all that. So yeah, I think I'm done like explaining and breaking down the competition. But yeah, so this week, as I said, this is week 6. We just left with week 7 and week 8 till we go into the playoffs. We've had the first 5 weeks have been also like super crazy. If you guys want to check them out, you can check out those streams on our YouTube channel. And yeah, so today's week 6, and as you heard us, we're excited for today. We have how many players? I think we got like 16 players so far loaded up in the server.
16. That's perfect.
We're waiting. I think we're waiting for a bit more, but if we'll get started in 5 minutes. So those other remaining players, they have 5 minutes till we start. But yeah, like I said, the tournament is going to be hectic today. It's going to be cray.
You know what I'm actually really excited most about, right? Is that very often as we've been coming into this, because of if it stays 16, that is, if nothing changes at this point, it's often been a situation where there's sort of disparate numbers, things are a little bit different because of odd numbers, people have to rely on tiebreaker points. The way it's sort of set up right now with 16 players means that it literally will get down to the person who wins everything. Like there's no slip ups, there's no mistakes. Everyone will have their full games. I don't think tiebreaker points will come into it to determine number 1. It might come into it to determine 2 and 3. So this means that nobody will be pressured or panicking for time, you know. Although we have already seen a lot of games which can go down to the wire anyway on the time,
Yeah.
but it means that people will be very circumspect about using their time just to win, not just using the time to secure a tiebreaker point.
Yeah, 100s, 100s. Yeah, to be honest, I find them exciting, those games which go down to time. You know, we've seen some controversial wins through time. You know, someone who will have the advantage and everything, but they just took too much time building that advantage. They just took too much time thinking, you know, because it's 10 minutes, 10 minutes each side. So it's bullet chess. So, you know, people don't have that much time to think, but, you know, you just have to make sure that you're quick with it. You know, you're quick with it because, like, we don't want to, like, have 1 hour matches or anything like that, you know, because it's still a Sunday. People have to prepare for Monday. Some people have to go to work, some people have to go to school, so we try to keep it chill, you know, like 10 minutes each side. But you know, the games are action packed.
I mean, some people are also interrupting Bryce, right? There's people who are right now like have given up going somewhere, no one's chopping up meat, people are staying sober just to make sure they can play this chess, you know.
Yeah, you'll have to stop the groove on Saturday. You stop groove. You can't have a chess tournament on Sunday and then you go to groove. The Papalas is not going to work. The Papalas is going to work against you, and it's going to work against you. So you have to make sure that you're at your peak performance mentally. You know, mentally you have to make sure you're at your peak performance to make sure that, you know, you take home that 400 rands in cash and secure a spot in the playoffs. But hey, I mean, unless if you're I guess if you're gonna go into like Drunken Master style, you know, and then go like, then maybe, hey, if that's your style, then, you know, hey, I'm not the one to argue. You know, we all have our different ways, you know, to make sure that we have that advantage and all. But yeah, for this week, I'm expecting some, like I said, I'm excited. So looking at the playlist, do you have the playlist by the way?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I got it.
Looking at the playlist, so who's your prediction? Like I said, there's a lot of powerful people in this week's tournament. So looking at the playlist, who do you think is going to take it home today? Who do you think is going to be number one today?
You know, I think as we're closing in on these final weeks, the just playing in portion coming into the playoffs, I do think there's something to be said about some late entrants into the game. For example, the Chess Boy, an absurdly high rating coming in from them. But more than just the rating, it's that little tag, a young FM tag.
H.
Yeah,
Yeah, five master. He's a five master. So
five master.
So it's not just, you know, like he's 2100. You know, his rating is 2100. So that means he means business. You know that, you know, and plus he's a five master. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. But at the same time, we have another person, CM. We got an 1800 player here by Kitonsky. I'm familiar with Kitonsky. Like I like me and him, like we used to meet up at tournaments. You know, like our schools were very close to each other as well. So every time I'd go to a tournament, he'd be there, and he was always stealing the show because he was like the chess prodigy. You know, when I was growing up, so like especially during my high school chess career, like so he was like the guy to be, and he was always feared. You know, so it's to see him here does put a bit of excitement in my heart, and I'm also like, hey man, he better represent. You know, he better represent us. Because he's also
that's happening here. Actually, you know, he's writing the storyline right now. This is he's the candidate master. What he needs to do here is get past the actual master and like let's go. There's some Afro Samurai happenings that need to happen here from Kitongsi. So it's not that easy. It's going to be difficult for him, especially because, you know, there's been a lot of players who have been playing consistently and who aren't that far off from him rating-wise. I've always found that when it comes to these chess ratings, there's sort of these 500 increments beyond which things become really different. Like 1.5 compared to 2000, it's very different chess that's being played. 100. So his competition is closer to him than he is to the chess boy, which makes things a little bit complicated. But it does mean that there's impetus, there's fire, there's a reason to play, there's a reason to prove that you don't deserve the candidate master. You deserve the official designation, you know. We'll see if he's going to be good for the money here in the proving ground.
No, definitely. I'm also reading the chats, like in the lobby, like with the players. So the last week's winner, Coronations, he just sent through a message to Kitonsky, the guy I was like talking about. He's like, Benele, the guy's name is Benele. he's like, what, a huge fan dog. You guys always chop JM. Why don't you give us a chance? So even last week's winner is also like, he knows when to pay his respects. So yeah.
No.
But anyways, it seems like the games are are ready to go and they're underway. So I guess we can just like tune into some of the games. I'm not sure who we're gonna check out first. But let's just start at the top of the list. So we have Jaden Smith against the Chess Boy, the Fight Master. So so already off rip.
Let's see the master.
Yeah, so we got the Chess Master on the black pieces, and we got Jaden Smith, who also was one of, I think he came second place in week 4. So he's also another player he's a returning player. So he has caused some trouble in the past. So he's one player to look out for, and is a player not to underestimate in today's competition. So I'm expecting some hit from him as well. And just like off rip, I guess it's just pretty standard chess. Both sides are developing their pieces, getting their pieces active in the game. Who's Jaden just decided to castle just to add a layer of protection, because I'm sure he sees that rating, that Fight Master rating, and he's not going to be playing around. I don't think he's going to be playing around. He's going to be taking it easy. He's going to make sure he comes through that but yeah, already going in for the exchanges early. So far things so far seem pretty even, both sides. I guess this is working on each exchange. And yeah, I guess we should
early check just to make him rule the king side castle there. I think what I always find interesting about the ways that higher rated players, especially like 2000 plus, open up is they definitely tend to prize versatility on the board rather than trying to simply control the center. Controlling center is obviously important, but consider the opening moves from Jaden compared to what the Chess Boy has done. Chess Boy, the way it stands right now, there's a lot of ways you can move about the board without having to compromise the central pieces here. You've already got decent defense with your pawns. Whereas for Jaden, it has taken a little bit of time to get, for example, this bishop up where he wants it to be here, but did come at the expense of being able to develop other moves. For example, only now is he going to be able to do anything on g-file, and he gets taken advantage of with the chess player being able to advance the knight that side. It's a little bit too late to try and react now with the pawn, because then you're behind with your positioning on special pieces. Try to do something with queen, but right now you can almost feel it, right? That Jaden is playing reactively. Every single move that the chess player is doing is provoking 1 or 2 extra moves from Jaden in order to try and get some kind of equilibrium out of it.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, looking at some of like Jaden's pieces, they're very like position-wise. I would give it to the chess boy. Just like looking at like the control he has on the center, and he's supporting all his pawns on the board. That d5 pawn from Jaden is a bit of a. I think it's going to be a bit of a stress like to protect, because it's all the way in Black's territory, so he has to work a bit extra hard to make sure that pawn is safe, and as you can see, a lot of pressure is being applied there on those 2 pawns, the c4 pawn and also the d5 pawn. So the chess boy is also, he's making sure that he has that pressure, because the thing about chess, something I learned, constant pressure is is good. Especially if you want to put your opponent in the corner, because eventually your opponent is going to end up playing reactively to your moves, and eventually they are bound to make a mistake, 1 or 2 mistakes during that time. They're trying to run around, they're trying to protect their pieces, but yeah, looking at this so far, I feel like Jaden hasn't slipped up that dramatically as yet. I feel like the game hasn't. I wouldn't give it to anyone as yet. I feel like a couple of moves have to be played, but I'm just saying the pressure that the chess boy is applying on Jaden is tremendous, and it could lead to Jaden making 1 or 2 mistakes going forward if he's not careful.
Did get a little bit of time here with this move to d7 coming in from the chess boy. Gave some space towards Jaden, because he, like you're mentioning, he made a lot of effort towards protecting the pawn on c4, d5, even moving up their knight, or this rook, onto c1, making sure to get that protection. But the reactive move from the chess boy, instead of just soaking up the pressure, leaving the queen sitting on c7, moving it to d6 or to d7, gives some space and some time towards Jaden to advance the queen a little bit. Playing aggressively, you force movement from a rook. It's not going to net you necessarily a piece, but like you mentioned, you're forcing reactions. When you're in this stage of the game, the way that it's going right now, the worst thing you can be is to be playing textbook or to be playing complacently against somebody that you expect to be beating you in most situations, the best thing to be doing is to doing things proactively yourself. And now there's no obvious easy moves for the chess boy to put aggressive moves and aggressive pressure onto Jaden. The only easy moves are to potentially force the queen away, but you're already setting up to try and protect it. You've got this bishop now to protect the pawn onto f3. So now you get this easy. Mate, that was a. I feel like this would have been fine 2 moves ago to move the pawn up to c4 or to g4, but now it feels a little bit awkward. You're not really able to keep pressure onto that particular square. Now the knight is easily able to apply more pressure onto the bishop. He'll take the bishop because then you get into this fork situation between the two rooks that are sitting on this one column. Makes life so much easier on the one row. And not gonna go for it just yet.
Yeah,
Still gonna just easily eat up the pawn for free, and why not, right? There's no loss from this. There's no way you can actually get punished from this move. It's now gonna have to be Jaden that responds somehow instantly.
And now she's trapped. Our lovely queen has been trapped. Jaden Smith really blundered there. And I wasn't really a fan of him placing his queen on h6 because I don't know really what he was trying to do there. Because there was not really much he could do. Like none of his pieces were like applying pressure on black's king side. So him placing his queen on h6 was almost like a death sentence. You know what I'm saying? Because the only way I would see play out, the only way I would like vouch for a move like that if maybe you were going for a king side attack, but there's nothing though. The only thing that was applying pressure on black's king side was the queen. So I don't really understand the move of placing the queen on h6. So yeah, that was a big blunder. And as I said, that pressure from the chess boy was tremendous, and and that caused him to resign. Remember what I said? Hey, if you blunder,
that's what you want, though, right?
If you blunder, what do? You hit the resign button, man. You just hit that resign button GG. And call it GG. But okay, that was pretty quick. The chess boy, I guess, is living up to expectation. He made quick work of what's this, Jaden Smith. So I think the next match you could check out is Kithomski against Problem X. Problem X being a returning player as well. And this is surprising, so far the match is still like, I feel like it's still like we're about to head into the mid game. Or in the mid game at the moment. Yeah, both sides have developed their pieces, with Kithonski on the white side and we got Problem X on the black side. Problem X being also a returning player but hasn't won anything as yet. I think he has secured a spot in the playoffs, but I think he's also looking to win at least some cash prize. You maybe have a bit of something before you go into the playoffs. But looking at so far, both of them have developed their pieces. They have their pieces in the game. Yeah, so far, at first glance, I can't really see much, but so far, things seem a bit like even on both sides. And
yeah, I mean they did the same side castle.
Yeah,
both of them are like slowly trying to develop the rooks out from the very back. Both of them have traded out a knight. Pawns are basically the same. Neither of them have that much pressure on E and F files with the pawns, and rather are pressuring that side with special pieces. Very similar opening here in this game, actually. And it kind of seems like it's very rare that you see this, right? That it's almost like exact mirror matchups that are happening here.
I guess the only difference is that black has that bishop fincated onto the G7 spot. So yes, I feel like it's the slight difference. I'm not sure which opening he played, because he just came in between right in the middle of the game. But looking also at the time, that's another thing that I think we should take note of. Problem X only has 3 minutes on the clock, and Keith has more than double his time. So time will be a huge factor in this match. Also considering we're not that far in this game, and no one is like a clear winner so far. And Keith, also another thing about Keith, he's a very strong blitz player. He can think really fast. So time for him is just like, it's almost nothing for him. So by Problem X spending so much time thinking, he could really put himself in a tight spot, because obviously Keith is going to apply pressure on the board as well. He's going to apply pressure with them fast moves, just to make sure to shake up Problem X a bit, because his time just keeps on running down. Or now his time is now approaching into 2 minutes. So I don't know.
I think he's actually DC'd. Look at his connection bar. It says member offline. He might have lost connection.
Okay, it seems to be. He's lagging a bit, but yeah, it's probably his internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, but this is
Feels bad.
yeah, that's gonna be a
All
very
right. There's no,
unfortunate.
okay. I think there's no way that he can win in this situation, right? This early on in the game, like you mentioned, you're playing against someone else who's very good, who's also good at playing blitz chess, who doesn't necessarily need as much of a time advantage to win. But when you have a 6 minute plus advantage and it's ticking down to become a 7 minutes advantage, I think it's actually literally impossible to win in this situation. Like, you'd have to be a supercomputer to win from here, right? I don't think you can do this for Problem X.
Yeah, in this particular situation.
Like, he's back now, but
Eish,
feels bad.
damage has been done. Damage has been done. But yeah, looking at him, looking at this position right now, yeah, like I say, it's pretty much even. Even though he is the upper pawn, I feel like this match is still like, yeah, I wouldn't give it to him as yet, because like I said, anything this could go really south for him because like now he has the pressure of time. He's not behind, so he's gonna play very hastily, and that could cause him to make a blunder here and there. So yeah.
To be fair, I think like Katongsi just made a small blunder. I don't think that knight needed to die in that situation.
What to exchange?
He tried to move up with the pressure. Yeah, because he didn't get like any. He just moved like knight up to, like he got the exchange, but I don't know. What do you think about that one? Given the state of the game, let's ignore time. Let's pretend time isn't actually a factor, right? And we're just going by the current game state. Do you think it's actually beneficial for Kitongsi to make that trade? I mean, given the position of his remaining bishops, right? He's had to now reposition one to try to apply pressure differently. I don't know if that was like the optimal trade to make in that situation.
Which are you talking about, the knight exchange?
Yeah, the second knight exchange. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. Like okay, to be honest, I feel like because he's trying to get an open board as my an open board. So and I feel like like I said, double bishops are always powerful in the mid game, especially from the mid game towards the end game. Double bishops are for me are optimal, and they're more versatile. And I feel like he was, as you can see, he's opening the board, so he's just trying to pierce through Black's position using the bishops. So I'm not saying it's a bad move by him exchanging the bishops, not the bishops, him exchanging the knights, but I feel like he was going for more of an open chessboard play. As you can see, he's trying to exchange all the pieces, the major pieces from the board. So, and also as you can see, he's also trying to take control of that 7th rank, so he's not going to give it up easily. And like they say, like in the rule book of chess, rooks in the 7th or 2nd rank are always like something to be scared of. Like they're in like like look how far the rook is in Black's territory, and it's almost like boxed in the king slightly. And Black controls those, the 7th rank. I mean, White controls the 7th rank right now. So there's nothing that okay, there's something that Black could do, but he'll have to do a bit more extra work just to kick him. And plus, he also is controlling that B file, which is open. And the only file that he could take now is the G file. But by Black putting his rook on the G file, that was just like put his king in a tight corner, and you don't want that. You don't want that. And yeah, that's something I told him not to do. But he goes ahead and does it.
Goes ahead and does it. He's in this corner now. Now it's only a question of how many moves it's going to take, right? Because from that position, especially with this rook already sitting in the 7th rank, easy. I mean, I think Problem X sort of made this a bit easier, just given the fact that he knows his time is ticking down. Like he knows his chai, he knows his GG, right?
Yeah, like
so.
Yeah, like moving that rook onto G8, that was him putting him, like that's him like almost giving up the game. That was not the best move for him to do. Like you never want to see your king in the corner, and I feel like he was under pressure also because of time, and he was just trying to like make the most out of his position, but eventually that led to a blunder. And you know what he did after making that blunder? He hit that resignation. He hit that resignation button.
People have been sitting. Have you been spreading this gospel?
What?
Behind the scenes, have you been setting a book? Have you been going around being like, when one is in trouble, one must resign?
Well, it's not life advice, okay? It's not like life advice. So please, people at home, don't take this as life advice. I'm saying in a game of chess. In a game of chess, if you see that you're losing, if you see it's chai, just put down the king, man. Just put down the king. Like looking at this, I think there's one more match of from round one, which is left, which is Volatile against Caltopolo, where we have Caltopolo on the white pieces and we have Volatile on the white pieces. And like at first glance, Caltopolo should do what? He should hit that resign button because there's no chance. I mean,
4-minute disadvantage in time. You only
Oh,
have
no.
a pawn, special
Oh.
piece on the board. It's difficult to expect any kind of victory from this. I mean, you're still gonna do what you can to clean up as many pieces as possible, but there's a limited amount you can do. You know for a fact promotion is coming. It's just a matter of time. It's kind of just a situation where you're picking your poison, right? Which pawn is getting promoted is all you can do at this point. And the game should end not too long from now. Feels bad for Carlton Paulo, you know, for one of our regulars, been out here for a while, but Volatile 6, ironically enough, I think lives up very much to the name. There's some weeks where Volatile 6 seems really, really strong, like so dominant. Another time it's like, maybe not the best week, maybe not the best day, but this time around we're getting the good Volatile. Volatile is out here.
Yeah, like I think the graph is going up today. I think the graph is gonna go up today. So, yeah, but like, yeah, I feel like Casa Porter should just put down the king because like I feel like right now it's being a bit desperate. But like, actually no. Let's let him play because at the same time, you know, a lot of players don't know how to handle the in-game situation where they have pawns left on the board and they have a rook on each side. You know, a lot of these players are still starting out in chess. You know, some of them don't really know what to do, right? And by the looks of it, he's who's this Volatile is not applying that much pressure as yet. Yeah, and I feel like he should have had his king a bit closer in that situation because now you know he's gonna end up having to exchange the pawn and the rook. He's gonna end up exchanging the pawn and the rook for for that situation. But I think he's just gonna go for that, to crown with the cheap pawn, which he can do. I feel like
real talk.
He could have made it cleaner.
Real talk, right? If there was more time here for Cult Apollo, you could have maybe try to force a stalemate out of the situation. I think part of the reason that he's not even trying at this point because he's like, what am I gonna do? 7 seconds left. This dude has almost 4 minutes. It's not possible for me to try and force that out. But you could have tried to bog it down. Like if you had the equivalent amount of time, just when we joined the game, for example, right? When we saw what things look like, immediately if I'm them, like, well, we're moving this king mid-board. We're gonna try and play for this very, very annoying stalemate late game. But unfortunately, this is like the second match in a row where time becomes such a crucial factor that ends up changing everything.
Yeah, today so far I think it's the first one. No, it's the second one. Yeah, because like in the first one was that one with Kitonsky and who was it? It was Kitonsky against who was it?
Problem Mix.
Problem Mix, yeah, and like that.
Speaking of Kitonsky, actually. We see Kitonsky now taking on Coronations. The previous winner.
The previous winner against Kitonsky, who's someone who, like I said, I got my money on Kitonsky for this week. So the thing is, I don't know who, I don't know the chess boy, right? Maybe I know who he is, but I don't know him from his username, But I guess we can check out Coronations against Kitonsky and see how that goes. It is an exciting match because Coronations is the week 5 winner of the Ekasi Esports chess series, and he will probably he has won week 5. He won week 4 and week 5, so he's the reigning champ at the moment. So he has won the chess series twice in a row so far. So yeah,
the people's champ.
Yeah, the people's champ. And so far, is he trying to go for like a kingside gambit? I'm not sure. Is this what Coronations is going for? A kingside gambit? Okay.
Hey man, sometimes the classics don't go out of fashion.
Yeah, no. Like if he knows how to play, then he could stick to his game. But I haven't really studied the kingside as much. Like I used to play a lot of the Queen's Gambit back in high school, and it used to be my favorite opening. But I think I've played the kingside a couple of times, but I the results were okay. But then I just had better results the kingside, because it's not, they're not like mirror matches, they. Like the disadvantage the main disadvantage of the kingside the King's Gambit is that you do open up your kingside a bit more than you would want, and I guess that also eliminates the option for you to castle kingside if that's what you want to go for, because you have already moved up that F file pawn. So you can say castling kingside is not maybe the most recommended thing. You probably want to castle like queenside, which I think Coronations might do later on. But yeah, so it's not really my favorite opening, but it is a decent opening. Oh, and he does castle.
I was actually about to say that like what you can do. Right after we saw them moving up and advancing this knight here towards F3, I was gonna say that once you do that, then it kind of becomes safer to go in for this particular short side castle. And Kitanski realizes this, right? You want to try to do as many things as possible. So you got to get this knight away from f3 to take advantage and to exploit the space given by the fact that they castle short side by still advancing the pawn. And you force out the trade. It's okay. It's fine. Immediately afterwards, you're also going to force repositioning on this knight that's sitting on c3. Life is good for you right now. So despite the fact that you went to so much effort on the side of coronations to get your king into this position, it's still technically exposed. Now he has to be playing with a lot more focus towards protecting the midboard, right? D4 is now such a dangerous square that these bishops want to exploit on the side of Kitanski. And at the same time, when you go for your own castle on short king side on Kitanski, there's absolutely no danger given the way that the board has developed right now.
No, definitely. Still a lot to go in so far. And looking at just like Kitanski's gameplay, I think he's taking it very slow. He's not underestimating his opponents. Which I guess a lot of some players tend to do. But he's an experienced player, so obviously he knows not to underestimate his opponents, which I guess is also a sign of respect as well. Because sometimes some players, like especially mid-tier players, they tend to once they know that they're able to chop some people on the board, they like underestimating their players, and then eventually they make blunders, and then they if their opponent is a bit more powerful than they expected, things go south for them. But yeah, I guess this is interesting to see how it plays out. But I feel like we could cycle through other matches and see how other things are going. I think let's like go on the other side of the spectrum and see how it went against, because right now we're looking at the winners. So yeah, because what happens is
let's see some losers. Okay,
yeah. So let's look at let's get some losers. So I guess we can check out who's clips against Jaden Cyrus Smith. Jaden Cyrus Smith, also another. I think his top placement so far has been second place in the chess series. So he's still looking for that top spot, place up against Clips. Right, Clips also a returning player from last week. I think we saw some of his gameplay. He's one of the guys who I said he should like really, because he didn't have the best results last week, and he said that he's gonna go back home and train a bit more. Do a couple of push-ups, train the mind a bit as well. He's gonna lab it out also on chess.com, scrim a couple of matches here and there. So yeah, I guess we guess we shall see if he has any improvement. And just looking at the leaderboard, he didn't win his first match, unfortunately, but maybe this is the time to redeem himself against Mr. Jaden Cyrus Smith. Yeah, but so far, yeah, he does seem to have the advantage in terms of position wise.
He's not right now, right?
Yeah, position wise, I think his pieces look very solid at the moment. He has pulled up on that D file. He's like dominating that D file, and really has black by the balls. He really has black by the balls, and yeah, but like it's too early to determine right now. It's too early to determine. This match is still blunder prone, so we can expect blunders, and blunders right now could really turn the game for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. So now that there's a little bit of an opening, Clips, I think, has a chance here. We see that after this move that Jaden's put on, this is a somewhat risky maneuver here. You're putting pressure onto this D5 knight, this D5 rook using your knight, but the question is, in terms of the response, right? There's two ways that you can go about it. I was about to say this. Either you retreat all the way down the file, or you move up this particular rook. This way you still keep pressure out here on 5 rank, and you have the option of advancing this pawn forward later on to force away this bishop, knowing full well that he's not going to try to go for a really bad trade for himself. Makes life a little bit easier as well, because there's no real one move that can be made by Jaden to afterwards put pressure on you. He's going to try instead force out either a potential trade or just an easy move on the knight, but you just move the knight. You still keep pressure on the knights on the other side. Jaden now has to be the one that makes 2 moves just to counter the one, and at the same time, Clips actually gets in a better position because of this advancing pawn. Sometimes this sucks. It happens in chess, right? Where you're thinking that your opponent is advancing and giving pressure to the opponent, but meantime, it's actually just making your life a little bit easier.
Yeah, diff. Also, it looks like I'm not a big fan of that move by Jaden. I'm not a fan, Jaden. I am not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
Oh yeah, but also by the way, there's people interacting with us as well in the chat. Who's this? Sneaky Free Fire says hello, and also Smug Weather also says hey. Hey, shout out to you guys. Hello to you. Hello to you guys as well. Thank you for tuning in, and yeah, thank you for tuning in and showing support and love. Be sure to leave a like, share this stream with your friends. Let's get the viewers up. Let's get the viewers up. But yeah, so I guess back to the action. Let's see how did Clips capitalize on that blunder by Jaden, which did cost him a rook. So let's see how. Yeah, and I'd give the advantage so far to Clips. I would give it to Clips definitely.
Definitely.
Oh,
Heavy advantage there. Oh wow.
Oh, I don't think that was a restitution.
Wow.
I think that was internet from Jaden.
Oh,
Unlucky. Oh, that's one way you don't want to lose it. Oh, you don't want to lose it like this. You don't want to lose it like that, man. Oh, snap.
it's just pain and suffering right now, fam. Oh my goodness.
Oh, feels bad.
That hurts. That hurts.
I guess another match we can jump into is Tabs Jr. against Lazy Cash. Both returning players, players who also have tasted the top 3 spot in in the past couple of weeks, but none of them have been at the top yet. So both of them, I think their highest placement is 2nd spot. So they're still looking for that top spot placement. So they've been here since day one. Shout out to Lazy Cash and Tabs Jr.
Since day one.
They've
been holding it down.
Yeah, they've been holding it. Rada does, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to them, for participating and showing us support and love. And I hope they do get at least first placement, but like we only got like this week and another 2 weeks after this, so they don't have that many chances, but at least they're in the playoffs, so they don't have to be worried as much. So they have secured their spot in the playoffs, so they could like go for the bigger grand prize. And yeah, but I'm gonna touch on the grand prize. So the first place winner, let me just pull it up here. So the person in first place gets themselves 5,000 rands. Second place, I think, gets themselves 2,500 rands, and then third place gets themselves 1,000 rands. So some prize money to be won. There's some prize money to be won. So I guess if they don't get that 400 rands from the weekly leagues, they could fight for that grand prize of 5,000 rands. But like thing is, we have these candidate masters, we have these fight masters, and also not to forget, we still have Bekra who also qualified for the playoffs, who are also a very dominant force in the first couple of weeks. I think she has taken a break, because she has won, she has secured a spot in the playoffs, so she doesn't need to attend these other weekly leagues, So I guess she's just prepping for her time in the playoffs. So we have a lot of powerful players in this tournament. So hey, it's going to be lit in the playoffs. I'm pretty excited for the playoffs. So I'm just hoping that we speed off through these weekly leagues so we can get to the playoffs. I just want to see all these guys facing against each other, because there's no more second chances in the playoffs. There's no, I'll come back next week. I'll come back. Nah, if you're out, you're out. It's chai. You're gone. We kick you out. It's done for you.
You're bad. You gotta try again.
Yeah, you gotta try again. Well, you can't try
next
again.
Next time. Not even try again that day. Try again next tournament.
Yeah, you'll have to wait for season 2 of the Ekasi Esports Chess series if you fail this time. But like I said, it's not like a failure. It's something that one should be afraid of. You just have to work on on the parts that you need to improve on. Like I guess failure is just one of the greatest gifts. Because you need to go through failure in order to reach success. Because also these guys who are at the top, they also had to struggle, to get to where they are. But yeah, so looking at the leaderboard so far, we have the Chess Boy. The Chess Boy also just finished his match, so we have the Chess Boy on the top spot with 2 out of 2 matches. We have also Kitonsky at the top spot with 2 out of 2 matches. So I feel like they might be facing each other. They might. I'm not sure. Unless we get other people tied in first place. If we get 2 more people tied in first place, maybe they might match up with those other people. But I hope they do play against each other, because I'm curious to see who's more powerful, between the Chess Boy and Kitonsky.
You actually want to see the matchup. You want to see the number 1 versus the number 2 matchup.
I'd love to see the masters face it off, to show who's the undisputed master. Even though we got the rating, right? But I always say that the ratings sometimes are not the most accurate, because it's not the most accurate sometimes, because you could be like, and the gap between them is not as significant. Kitonsky's on 1900 so far, and the chess boy is on 2100. So there's a 200, about 250. Yeah, 252 rating difference between the two, but that doesn't mean that Kitonsky is necessarily less than the chess boy. It doesn't mean that the chess boy is better than Kitonsky. But the only way to prove that is for them to play, for them to come together and then battle it out, and then let's see how it goes. But yeah, I guess we can just like look at what's happening so far on this, and it seems pretty much even. Like, yeah, it's pretty much even.
It's a very, very even game.
Yeah, it's very, very
super
tight.
close. None of them are making any mistakes right now. Both of them trying to make sure that they apply pressure with the few special pieces they have left. Both of them have pawns on FG and H beast. Both of them have a king hiding behind a pawn that's sitting on the E-file. It's very, very similar from what we see here.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes good, right? It means that people are really adapting to the kind of chess that's being played. And it's not just one of these things where people are just copying each other's moves, right? But sometimes the flow of the game gets to a point where the best way to move is to move in such a way that you go into the areas the opponent is trying to occupy. And these situations sometimes develop naturally, but it's very rare that you see it this succinctly.
I guess I'd give the advantage slightly to Taps Jr. Because he's on the white pieces, right? And Lazy Cash is on the black pieces. He is in black's territory. He has a C pawn like on the 5th rank, and he also has his rook on the 7th rank. And like I said, a rook in the 7th rank is a pain. So yeah, and his position is a bit more advanced to black's territory. So I guess we shall see how this plays out, because like I said, this match is still blunder proof, so it's not done as yet. So it's far from being finished. And I think how many matches do we still have left in the second round? We still have like 3 other matches happening. So yeah, I guess everyone is taking their time today. I guess we'll have like a full 20-minute match off the second round. So I guess we shall see what happens. And yeah, so and like everyone is scrambling for a bit of their prize money. At least if you can walk away with 3rd place, at least you'll be good. At least they're going into a week with an extra 150 rand, in your pocket. Yeah, buy something extra for yourself during the week. Just to reward yourself and spoil yourself a bit. You know what I'm saying? And this has gone into the end game. Look at this match. This has already gone to the end game, where it's like a knight and pawn end game, which makes this interesting, because knights are, they can be unpredictable at times. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you just see jumping over things, and but at the same time, it might not be the best piece to have, because it takes time for it to rush into the defense, especially if the action is on the way on the other side of the board. You know what I'm saying? So the knights,
I think the big thing with having knights like late game in this kind of situation is that you don't have the same certainty as to what the next 3-4 moves might look like, in the same way that you would say you're playing with bishops, playing with late game rooks, even a queen. There's some kind of degree of like, okay, this is the most likely routes that things are going to be coming from. With a knight, like you're saying, things just jump all over the show. You're playing this game, and you can sort of sometimes forget about these knights, right? Where your attention is not necessarily drawn towards it, and there's one particular jump that you're not fully certain that the other player will go for. They do it, you sort of forget about the positioning, and then next thing you know, it's not necessarily putting you in check, but it's putting pressure on a very important piece that you didn't really want to lose.
Oh, looking at this, it looks like both of them are start playing nice. One player goes for the attack, taps Junior, and pushed his pawn to E5, applying pressure onto that F6 pawn. And instead of taking that or going for the exchange, Lazy Cash decides to respond with an alternative attack. And sometimes these plays could, be risky. They could be very risky, what I'm saying? Especially if they're not played very carefully. And Taps Junior just piercing more into Lazy Cash's territory. And yeah, that E-file pawn could be trouble, because now it's a thorn in Black's position, because now he has to watch out for it and make sure that it doesn't get too far up on the board, And the king is also not that far from the it's pretty close to it, so he could White could look to use that, pawn to, probably promote. But yeah, this is gonna be a tight end game by the looks of it. And also looking at the time difference, Lazy Cash still has 2 minutes on the clock, and Taps Jr.
I actually think Taps Jr. just lost. Like I think you hate these situations, right, where the promotion is being forced on the one side, and you can now position this knight in such a way as you block the promotion, right, that's sitting on for G1. But now you can't do anything with this knight. This knight has to sit here and pocket and eat space. To be fair, it's fairly difficult for Lazy Cash to make advancing moves from their position as well. But there's very few moves that can be made that you worry about as much if you're playing on Lazy Cash. Once you move this, I think you definitely move pawn up to G2. From here, the next couple of moves, there's no like situation where a promotion is coming. You're not really afraid of that from Taps Jr. This king won't really be able to do anything aggressive. Your pawns are situated such that they're blocking any advancing movement. And since you have freedom to move the knight, you can then start slowly but surely trying to find a way to break that defense. In fact, there's like what? You go knight onto D7, and then after that, knight onto E5. Suddenly you're putting pressure again onto the knight that's sitting on F3. You advance the pawn up to make even more movement space if you want to go knight onto A6. And for Taps Jr., you have to start moving this king over. Like, this is the only thing you can do to make sure that you can take out the pawn here. But you're opening up even more space now for Lazy Cash, because he can pretty much do what he wants at this point in time. Figure out a way to take out this pawn on A4, and then start threatening again with the pawn on A5 for his own promotion. This is actually good stuff from Lazy Cash. I think Lazy Cash is going to win this one.
Yeah, I'll also give it to Lazy Cash, but he shouldn't just push that pawn alone. Don't just push. You must go with the king. You must make sure that you accompany your pawns with the king, because it is in that way you provide some protection.
Please preach this gospel, boss.
Exactly.
Please preach this gospel, boss.
I feel like Lazy Cash is unnecessarily losing pawns right now. And there's only one pawn on the board. There's one pawn on each side on the board. Why didn't you take the pawn? I feel like because like right now that if they exchange, if the pawn goes, it's a draw. Right, like the only thing that Taps Jr. can do right now is fight for that draw, and the only way he could do that is just take that, sacrifice his knight for that pawn, and that's GG's, and that's a draw on both ends. Lazy Cash really messed up there. He really blundered by losing those pawns, because he was in a great position on winning this match if he only made sure to accompany his pawns with the king, and you making sure. Oh, he could have just neglected those pawns and just focused on destroying the other pawns which are like on his way, at the pawns which are on the E file and on the E and F file. But yeah, he really messed up right now, because this could go to. I feel like this could go to a draw. Yeah,
and he's taking out on time. He had a massive time advantage earlier on.
Ooh.
Now he's only 7 seconds ahead. Oh gosh, Lazy Cash. So the thing is, honestly, move knights. Don't worry about that pawn. Like, he can't actually kill the pawn. You can't kill the pawn. You can't kill the pawn. It's fine. Just force him to waste the time. No, Lazy Cash, you should have taken the knight. You had the trade.
Oh, he had the trade. Oh my god.
Oh
man, Lazy Cash, you had this in the bag, my G.
Let's see.
Now there's like 3 seconds.
Can you touch it out?
Time?
There's still a chance.
What time should you do? What time should you do? Oh, no. What time should you do? Oh, GG's. I went the whole 9 yards for that one. I guess that's one way to get us excited for the grand finals. And looking at this, Lazy Cash actually has 2 out of 2 wins. So he's close to winning. He's close to, winning, and fighting for the top spot. So, is this
something interesting? Do you know something interesting, right?
What's up?
Look at the standings right now. There's 4 players on 2, right? And of course, 2 of those players are sitting on 2 tiebreaker points as well. So Senzo and Lazy Cash, right? Both of them are now playing against Chessboy and Kitongski. And if either of them win, they're actually favored to go number 1. So the Chessboy and Kitongski literally cannot afford to lose any of their games here. Otherwise, it's literally impossible for them to come first anymore.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will lose their matches. Like I said, they're highly rated players, and I expect them to win. But then if that's the case, then this will go into a draw, first place draw. So Kitongski. If my prediction is correct, where Kitongski and the Chessboy both win their matches, this could go into a draw, and we might have to have a tiebreaker because both of them are sitting on a 1 point tiebreak, so we can't even use the tiebreak points to determine who's going to be the winner or not. Or we could, because like they're still like their previous opponents from the second round as well. But if their opponents have a similar result as well, then this might go into a fourth game for the Chessboard and Kitonski, and who knows. But hey, let's just see how it goes. So far we have Kitonski against the Lazy Cash on the screen, with Lazy Cash being on the white pieces and Kitonski being on the black pieces. And very early on, Kitonski going for that aggression, going for that fire, which is very interesting.
Kitonski plays chest out all the time. My goodness. Like every single.
Oh my god, what a line. This is beautiful from Kitonski. Oh, yeah, this is very nice from Kitonski. Going for that early rook exchange and also getting himself an extra pawn there. Beautiful chess by Kitonski. And luckily for Lazy Cash, he saw that coming. Because if he were to take that rook on b2, then then Kitonski was just gonna run in with his knight on. He was just gonna go in with his queen. And then, he was going to lose a rook. He was going to lose a rook and a knight in that situation. So, yeah, well played on Kitonski, because, that puts him in a better position. But also well played from Lazy Cash for also spotting that out and not falling for it, Because sometimes these guys, they like playing these cheeky tactics early on in the match, just to test your waters and see, how good you are. Hey, shout outs to Lazy Cash for spotting that out so early.
Yep, Lazy Cash. I think where it became clear that he was aware of the move as well, doing the right thing by bringing back the bishop onto g2, not allowing this knight to just face this pressure by itself. And now you have a bit more freedom. We're moving around right now. Already got some advanced pressure placed out with this pawn onto e4. Kitonski, very characteristically, will challenge this directly and say, all right, come for it. What are you going to do? Are you going to advance this pawn, or we're going for the trade? If you go for the trade, I get more space for the queen. If not, it is what it is. But then I just easily and happily start advancing this knight here that's no longer going to be pressured. So what's it going to be? I really like that Kitonski keeps forcing this out of the opponent, right? Always forcing these kind of trades. And I really like this response, even though Kitonski is not really going to fall for it. At the very least, right, you're doing a thing where you're not playing the game that Kitonski is trying to force you to play. Even if it might not be the best optimal move, psychologically, I think it's important against a player that's better than you to not let them dictate the pace of the game, the style of play that's being put onto the board, and try to regain control, even if it's moves that aren't optimal, as long as they're moves that your opponent doesn't expect.
I guess, and then, just add on to your point, you want to make sure that you're not playing responsive chess as well, basically don't play responsive chess. Don't respond to your opponent's moves. Make sure that you have your own plans. Make sure you know what you're doing. Because if you're gonna play responsive chess, that means that's just a road to disaster. So yeah, just make sure that you got it in the bag. And this is pretty tight for Lazy now. For Lazy Cash. Oh, this is pretty sour looking for him.
This is dangerous right now. You can't do anything with your bishop. You have to get this queen mover out of the way somewhere. It's kind of, I hate these kind of situations where it feels like every move you make is putting you into a dangerous trap that the opponent has laid out. And although you've cleared out this middle portion of the board, you still have your pawn on e4 protecting a lot of space from the opponent. Ultimately, Kitonski has more options than you right now. Every move that you make as Lazy Cash, you have to consider what's being exposed, what's being left over. Queen that's sitting on this B rank or this B file is making a lot of trouble on from B6. This advancing knight, and consider what he's able to do with very few pieces on the board. After he moves the knight forward, suddenly you open up pressure again from this bishop. Now there's not that much defense available, because if you do decide to go in for a play deeper onto the board from Kitonski, the options for respawns will leave you vulnerable elsewhere on the board. So Kitonski, I'm not sure if it's the engine is saying that this is like a massive dub right now for Kitonski. We've seen that the engine unfortunately doesn't always give us the right prediction, because as a player you have to make the perfect move in order to take advantage of the position granted by the engine. But I think Kitonski is in a really good place, and it's reflected by Lazy Cash taking a long time to consider the next move, right? Because I feel like the only piece that can move effectively, it's either queen, this pawn that's sitting on e4, or the knight that's sitting on e2. Anything else that starts to move around, maybe a file pawn, but if you do anything else, it kind of feels like you're leaving something else just exposed, undefended. You don't want to leave the bishop undefended. You don't want to leave the queen undefended. Can't leave this bishop that's protecting e4 undefended. It's a complicated position to be in right now for Lazy Cash.
Yeah, definitely. This is pretty bad because Lazy Cash stands to lose a pawn in the situation. So yeah, and Keith is just applying that pressure. And the best move right now is to move the king close to the pawn to make sure that he keeps it safe. But now you're risking, having your king in the game, and now what the knight is gonna go into f2, forking the bishop at the white square bishop and the rook. But I feel like just adding that bit more pressure. Damn, Keith is not taking it easy. He's literally boxing Lazy Cash into a corner, and this is rough. This is really rough for Lazy Cash at the moment. And this is what's happening: responsive chess. This is responsive chess where now Lazy Cash is responding to Keith's moves. He's just trying to defend while Keith is throwing them punches. Lazy Cash just has his hands up, and while you got your hands up, you can't really go in for a punch because once you open up yourself, and while Kitomski's still like throwing them punches, eventually he's gonna hit your eye. When you try to go in for that sucker punch, he's gonna hit you in the eye. So this is really, really tough for Lazy Cash. The best thing they could do right now is just keep his hands up, because if he goes for any aggressive plays right now, he's gonna really hurt himself. He
moves away with this king right now. This is him trying to just keep hands up, being like, okay, what can I do? So they get put into check, but you expected this to happen. There's no way that you weren't prepared. Okay, let me say that I'm expecting there to have been a plan in order to deal with this, right? As to where you take your king. I hope that we do not see king onto b3. And all right, this is definitely better. This is
adding
not the best. But more pressure. Look at Kitomski, my goodness. Relax, fam. It's just a game, fam. It's just a game.
He ain't taking it easy. Hey man, one thing we were told, because for a minute, the person who was coaching him in chess, like early on, he was also my coach as well. And one thing I learned from him was that you got to put your opponent in that tight spot. You must tear them down. Like break them. Like when you peel a banana and make sure you peel them open. Make sure there's no peel in your way, and make sure you leave them naked. And then you just finish them like that. You make sure you break down your opponent. Oh my God. Yeah, this could lead to some trouble for her.
Oof. That's a good move.
I wouldn't like to be Lazy Cash in this situation. Man. Like, god damn, bro. Oh, this is really rough.
So what do you do, right? So you have to do something right now. This king has to move. You have to go e2. I was gonna say it's either e2 or c2. C2 seems or d1. You can't go to c2 because this knight is there. You gotta go e2 because d1 way too dangerous. There's still this rook that's sitting, waiting to put you in pressure. Game is hard. Feels like mate's in 2 moves from this point. How do you get out of this debacle? Do you advance? Maybe try go king f3. You probably it's dangerous, right? But what isn't at this point, right? If you don't do that, what do you do? Any other move you get mated into, I think.
No, it's pretty much forced. It's a forced mate. This one. It's a forced mate. It's GG's. Lazy Cash should just resign and just save himself.
I was about to say, are you gonna just tell him to resign?
You know how we resign. You must know. But hey, well played from Lazy Cash. That was well played. Hey, it's not what I wanted, man. You make someone come. I'm not a bad guy. Okay, I'm not a bad guy. I'm just telling you like it is. That if it's not going now, and it's chai, you must know. Hit the resign button. Call it. Just call it. Oh, but that was well played from Lazy Cash, though. That was a nice match. I guess, for Keith to end it off. And looking at the scores right now, Keith is at the top spot. And right now we're looking at the Chess Boy. So the Chess Boy, really has to win. But if he doesn't win, if Senzo wins, then that'll put. That might put Senzo, I think, ahead. I'm not sure. I guess we'll just see how the tiebreaker points, fare up at the end of the match. But yeah, I think we might have a 2-way tie for first
Yeah, at the
place.
top. Might have to have a tiebreaker from there.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
depends on whether or not Senzo can withstand this pressure from the chess boy, who's not very similar to what we saw from Kwiatkowski. It's different style from him. So notice that the pressure that is applied is generally more lateral than the pressure from Kwiatkowski. Kwiatkowski is very direct in his attack. You know what he's doing. You know what's coming. Question is, can you stop it? Generally not. But the chess boy always, like the way I've always seen that there's development coming, right? We see that he always seems to move up, seemingly rank by rank with many special pieces at a time, and in tandem with moving up the pawns. Never leaving just pawns to defend an area or special pieces. They're all advancing at once. So I feel like the situation that we're seeing him now with a very empty 7th and 6th rank comparatively is something we're going to see more and more often in the playoffs potentially as well, where he's playing some of the more difficult opponents, and we get to see this aggression in all its glory.
Yeah. No, Diff. Like, you gotta be careful, especially if you're playing against these, like I said, highly rated players. I feel like we're giving these guys too much shine today. But you gotta really play carefully against these guys. Because I'm sure they're in it, to soup that 400 rands, every week. Because like, hey man, if I'm a master and there's a tournament where I can win 400 rands a week, hey man, I'm jumping in every Sunday. I am there. And plus it's easy. I get to play on my phone, so I can still be up and about. I can still be out and about. I just have to tell the people I'm with, I'm like, yo, could you just give me a minute? I just have to like chop some people real quick. I have to chop some butts out real quick on the server. So I'll be back. I just want to get in my 400 rands, and maybe take that 400 rands, and also be sure to head down to Vodacom World in Midrand, and also get yourself some of those awesome exclusive deals that you can see. Like you see the like I'm sure you guys have been seeing the red banners and the red ads and the red pictures on the some of the stream graphics. Yeah, so those are some of the awesome deals that you can get access to if you head down to Vodacom World in Johannesburg in Midrand. If you're not in Johannesburg or Gauteng or anywhere close to Midrand, well, you could fly down to Joburg, and so you can just get access to these awesome exclusive phone deals at Vodacom World. And they don't only just have phones, and they don't only have phones. They also have like some awesome gaming consoles. They got some. I think I saw a TV the other day. I saw a TV. So hey, you can head down there and then check it out yourself. They also plus they also have an esports hub outside. So if you also want to go and check it out, be sure to head down to Vodacom World in Midrand. Yeah, and I'm sure some of these winners should take some of this prize money and go down to Vodacom World, and just so they can see what they can do with some of these extra 400 rands that they won from these weekly tournaments that they've been playing in. But yeah. But for now, let's just see who's gonna walk away with that 400 rands for this week. And so far we have the Chess Boy against Senzo, and oh my G, oh no,
Looking,
oh no,
yeah,
it's
timeouts,
unlucky.
GGs.
And I guess the prediction was correct. We have the Chess Boy and Kwiatkowski on the top, on the top spot, and they'll be fighting for that number one spot for today. But I guess another match we can check out is Coronations against Apollo. Coronations being last week's winner, who is definitely not this week's winner, unfortunately for him. So he's going to be so I guess he's going to try and get at least 2 points. Maybe just to be at least somewhere. Maybe he could fight for third place. I'm not sure how his tiebreaker points are looking at the moment.
He's got 0 tiebreaker points. Neither of them actually, Apollo or Coronations, have any tiebreaker points right now.
Oh, it's gonna be rough.
Denzo and Lazy Cash are both sitting on 2 wins and 2 tiebreaker points. Kwiatkowski and the Chess Boy have 3 wins and 1 point each. So that means that those top 4, whatever the result of the tiebreaker matches, that's going to determine the top 3. Chess Boy and Kwiatkowski play out for number 1 and number 2, and then Senzo and Lazy Cash play out for 3rd and 4th. So literally impossible here for Coronations to get into top 3, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. So Senzo and Lazy Cash will have to play a tiebreaker so we can determine who's going to be in the third place spot, because they're both tied for third place, and the Chess Boy will have to play Kwiatkowski for that first place spot. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit hectic. Yeah, and so far, yeah. But like looking at Coronations, I guess he's just going to try and get at least 2 out of 3 wins. At least walk away with something, walk away home with something like, walk away with hey, 2 out of 3 wins is 60% good. So at least I can be like, yo, at least I got 60% of the points, even though it doesn't really put me in the top 3. But I can walk away with pride. You know what I'm saying? But actually, we might not even have to have a tiebreaker because wait, did Carlton Polo play against the Just Boy in the previous round? Because if he did, that means the winner
Carlton
here.
Polo didn't.
He did. Oh, because I was gonna say if he did, then it means the winner here could determine who's gonna be first place. Because Coronations played against Kithomski, right? So if Coronations does win here, then Keith's tiebreaker points will increase.
I see what you mean.
They'll increase, and that could put Keith.
I see what you mean. Oh, okay.
So it's gonna. So now, basically, first place could be determined in this match. So yeah, let's just wait and see what happens.
Right, let's see.
Let's just wait and see what happens.
Let's see.
And looking at right now, things.
So the way it's looking right now is that Carlton Polo seems ahead, right?
Yeah, he seems slightly ahead because he has that extra pawn on the board as well. And also looking at the time, Coronations is also down with time. He's on 56 seconds. So will he be able to clutch it out and on time? And yeah, this is gonna be rough. This is gonna be rough for Coronations. And I'm pretty sure Kithomski, if you're watching the stream, I'm pretty sure if Kithomski is watching the stream, I'm sure he's rooting for who's this guy? For Coronations to win, because at least that'll put him
of course
in a tough spot. Yeah, I guess that's the thing that sucks about tiebreaker points is because it's not dependent on you. You know what I'm saying? It's dependent on your opponents, and if your opponents don't do well, then tough. Let's try again next week, and that's I guess one way to I hate being denied tough spot for that. But let's just see how it plays out. We still have
looking like that might be the case because right now Coronations is still running out of time.
I guess we shall see what happens. We shall see what happens going forward.
I think right now the play should be for Carlton Polo as much as humanly possible. Just frustrate the attempts for Coronations to get better control and make sure that there's no opportunities for easy promotion. If you have to go for trades, it is what it is, but not a trade like that. That's not what we wanted. That's not what we wanted. That's not what we wanted. Okay, that's not great. Coronations is now in much more jeopardy. Like, you got 30 seconds left, right? You've pretty much allowed yourself to have the special pieces take good dominant control over a side of the board that you can't really do anything to control. There's no way he can threaten this rook right now. He's going to do everything possible to put this king further and further into that corner. And you still have options. It's not like you're in a situation where you're worried about an instant promotion from a pawn on the other side of the board. You can play this one out slowly. You have the additional minute of time to think about what you want to do. So right now, I would be very surprised if Coronations can clutch this one out. However, earlier on, we did see Lazy Cash almost lose in a similar situation. So Carlton Polo will have to keep his wits about him if he wants to come away with a dub here.
Yeah, but looking at I mean the air pressure of the time on Coronations end is really gonna cause him to maybe make a blunder, and yeah, that's not what you want. And so you have to pay attention to your time, especially in these bullet matches. 10 minutes. 10 minutes does seem like a reasonable amount of time, but in the world of chess, 10 minutes is not enough. So it's not enough. So you need to have all the time you can get. You need to have all the time you can get.
Oh snap! This is the best situation for Coronations, all right? This is not bad. This is not bad. This is not bad.
Yeah, if he could stall it out for just a bit longer, he could find himself, in a promising position.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Yeah, he just has to stall it and but he's taking his time as well.
Oh no, Coronations.
Not like
this.
No,
not like this. That was not the trade.
I
from the Gospel of Konpeki, there's two things from the Gospel of Konpeki. The verse 1 is resign when you make a blunder.
Yeah.
And then verse 2, never trade when you're in a bad position.
Hey, I mean, look.
Never trade when you're in a bad position.
Who's this? Oh, Chi-Chi's time. And now we have
tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker points now. We got tiebreaker points that'll come into play. So I guess we'll just take a slight break and see if we can catch if we can catch Moses the tiebreaker matches coming in for who's this Lazy Cash against Lazy Cash and who's this Volatile? Oh, it's Coronations against no, it's Senzo against Volatile.
Yeah, Senzo and Volatile.
Fighting for third place. Then we have the Chess Boy against Keith fighting for first place. So let's just take a quick break and we will be back once the matches are live. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have Kithomski against the Chess Boy. They already started their tiebreaker match. Both were tied in first place. And this match will decide who's going to be at the top spot of week 6 of the chess series. And I guess it's one of the matches I've been excited to watch today. So yeah, I finally got it, even though it was not part of the first 3 rounds, but I was, I'm definitely excited to
got
see
your wish, fam. I mean, this is even better, right? Because now it's for all the marbles. And also, I love the fact that they're both playing so quickly. Look at this. This is proper blitz chess here, perfect.
Bruv, like it's not even 5 minutes each side. And look at how mirror, like both of their ports are mirrored. Oh my god. I guess this is what happened. It just reminds me of like, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, or any like fights in the Dragon Ball series where like Goku fights, or any two powerful characters fight. Like maybe usually it's like Goku against some really powerful person, and it's just like even, they both punch each other, like their punches clash, and and that's what's happening right now. That's what we're seeing right now. No one is letting off. No one is letting off. It's for that top spot in week 6 of the Ekasi Esports chess series, powered by Vodacom, of course. And yeah, so you can't let it off. You can't. You have to make sure you're on top of your game. Oh no! Oh come on! Nah, they can't do this. They can't do this to us. They can't do this.
They just did.
They tied again.
They just did. They tied.
How?
They tied. Repetition.
Yeah,
Chess was like, this is too much. This is too much.
Come on, Chins. Come
Do
on.
different openings. What the hell?
Yeah, no, we can't have this. We can't have this. Oh man, that was. I can't really say I'm happy.
Yeah, they're gonna have to play again.
They'll have to play again. Let me just see if we could just like get the link to the next one. But yeah, I guess we just have to jump into a break real quick until we can see what happens here. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for being patient. We apologize for the delays and also the pauses. We've been just trying to watch the another tiebreaker match from Keith and Boy. And if you guys missed it, the Chess Boy and Keith both tied for first place in week 6 of the chess series. They decided to play a tiebreaker match to break the tie, but that was not any good, Snare. Both of them were just like evenly matched, and they were basically mirroring their moves. And it ended up in a draw. So basically, the tiebreaker became a draw, and now, yeah, it's pretty much GG's from then on. So, yeah, I think that's what's going. I think they're just going to share the top spot, because even a match between both of them can't decide who's going to be the one. Can't decide who's going to be taking the first place spot. So they'll just have to share that 400 amongst themselves. So yeah, I think we'll have to call it a day today. Thank you guys for tuning in week 6 of the Ekasi Esports. We'll see you guys again in week 7 of the Ekasi. And yeah, and like I said, if you guys would like to know more about the tournament, be sure to visit the tournament page, which is at www.ekasiesports.africa/chess-series. The link will be posted in the description if you didn't catch that. Be sure to follow us on our socials, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Ekasi Esports for any updates, and also they'll be posted on the tournament page as well as on our socials. And if you guys would like to register and participate in the Ekasi Esports Chess Series powered by Vodacom World, be sure to register on the Ekasi Esports Chess Series tournament page on Mondays at 2:00 in the afternoon. So be sure to register for the chess series if you think you have what it takes to claim a spot in the playoffs, and also to win yourself some awesome cash prizes courtesy of Ekasi Esports and Vodacom World. Yeah, if you guys would like to follow us, you can follow Snare. You can follow Snare at Snaregrodamus on Twitter. Is there any other plug that you'd like to put in for your socials?
Yeah, you can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/snarecasting, or you can follow me on Instagram /Rhlamfu, R1HLAMVU. So follow me there. I'm always not active. It's my favorite thing to do.
I guess that goes the same for me. You can follow me at Perfect Kanpeki on Twitter, and can follow me at Kanpeki Perfect on Instagram. But there's nothing really much there. But you can follow me just to show some love. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We're gonna call it a wrap for today. Hopefully next week is also going to be as action-packed as this week. We'll only have to wait and see. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and this is us signing out. Cheers.